So another common question that we get asked is how do they transition from a graphic designer to a user experience or learning or an experience designer. So how do you transition from graphic design to experience design work? What's the difference? How will your work look like if you were a graphic designer before and you would transition to user experience design work? How would that look like? How will your deliverables change if you were in graphic design and if you transition into user experience design? Let's talk about that today. Hey, I'm Ellie. I'm a customer experience head in a large digital transformation office in a large conglomerate and the founder of a design community nonprofit here in the Philippines. And let's talk about this: how to change your career from graphic design to UX design. How do you transition your design from graphic to experience design? So experience design. Experience design. When talk about experience design, we talk about user experience and customer experience, and we talked about that in a previous episode. Now let's look at how let's look at LinkedIn. What does a graphic design look like? What does a design job look like? So you're part of the marketing team. Here's an example from Food Panda. You're part of the marketing team. You create high quality graphics, digital and print media, um, right? You would be graphic materials for online and offline marketing campaigns, create branding campaigns, animations for ads and social media. Okay, that's an example in how your graphic design job would look like. Let's look at other websites. Let's look at Canva. If you're in Canva, what would your career look like? You would be uh, working with template designers, mentor junior, brief or design, create high quality designs and templates, drive design research, work with copywriters, review designs with our designers, and provide feedback. Okay, okay? So that's Canva. That's how about let's see other creative services, graphic design. So graphic design. Let's look at other samples of graphic design work. Uh, Graphic design, service ops, customer service ops, graphic design, of Adobe Creative Suite, established brand identity system. So, okay, and then let's look at other user graphic design, senior e-learning, senior designers, graphic designer. Okay, let's particularly look at graphic designer, right? So, graphic designer, um, banners, marketing banners, landing pages, social media, graphic elements. Okay, let's look at what are typical deliverables of um, according to 99 designs. 99 designs. Eight types of graphic designs. You'd be doing visual identity design. Basically, this. Uh, Tell me if this is actually what you're working on if you're a graphic designer. You'd be working this. You'd be working on marketing, advertising, graphic design, something like this. That sound familiar to you? You'd be working on user interface graphic design. So you'd be sometimes working on interfaces. Okay. Um, you'd be working on publication, so you'd know how to publish. You would know how to create apps, UI for apps. You would know how to for websites as well. You would know how to create packaging design. So if you're a graphic designer, these are the things you would do. And motion graphics design. So you'd be able to do things like this. Okay? Animation, you would be so the examples of you can create graphics for the environment, so stages um, in your office, okay, office design. So, or you could be able to create illustrations, right? So Okay, does that make sense for you? That's a graphic design. How how does it different from a um, the deliverables of UX design work? So what are the deliverables? We talked about this in the previous episode. Common deliverables, static wireframes, interactive prototypes, flowchart or activity diagrams. Look at those three: static wireframe, interactive prototypes, flowchart or activity diagram. This is particular for user experience designers. Um, Again, interactive prototypes, usability analytics report, user journey maps or storyboard. Okay, so first three. For third-party clients, you'd be interactive prototypes, pixel-perfect mockups, usability and analytics report. So you will see that there's a bit of a difference in what you're going to create if you're into graphic design and into more doing more interactive design work in the learning experience design work. And for me, what you need to consider, what do you need to learn? Okay, one of the fundamentals, and you'll see an article by Interaction Design Foundation here. If you're to transition, um, so why would you transition? Because of the salary, according to at least in the US, average salary rate is much better for a user experience designer versus a graphic designer. Uh, we'll compare. We'll know more about this once we publish State of the UX in the Philippines. Our ongoing research. So user experience is concerned about look, feel, and usability. Look, feel, and usability. Okay, something that might not be fall directly under a graphic designer's purview is usability. But let's see, uh, what do they have in common? Things. This is how Interaction Design Foundation takes looks at it. You pixels, and you're very specialized if you're into graphic design. But when you go into user experience design, you'd be more customer focused, user focused, and multidisciplinary. So you'd have more broader set of skills. Okay. Um, and here there's a differences in graphic design. Instead of being user focused, you'd be pixel focused. Instead of being pixel focused in graphic design, you'd be more user focused. So what does this mean practically speaking? Practically speaking, we one of the things that we do a lot in learning in experience design work are the concept of um, journey maps. So here's an example of a journey map that I searched online. I just searched for journey maps online, and this is how it would look like. So if you're a graphic designer, while you'll be focusing on pixel according to interaction design, you'd now be concerned with this. You'd now be concerned with what is the experience of a customer and what would be the touch points. Touch points are anything that a brand interacts with. It can be a website, it could be an app, it could be a screen, it could be a poster. So your work as a graphic designer can be applied here. You can apply a lot of the skills that you've learned in graphic design into experience design. But you'd be thinking about the overall experience. So, what is the screen of a person who's accessing something? How will that look like? How will the flow look like? That's why our main deliverable, if you see here, are the interaction from Norman Nielsen, are interactive prototypes. So, interactive prototypes for internal management for clients, because you'd be concerned about the overall flow of the experience for customers and not just one particular touch point. Okay. And that has an impact. So my question to you is, do you really want to go this career path? Well, salary wise, according to Interaction Design Foundation, it makes sense. But you would be doing a lot of things. So it's not just one poster you'd be working on, or you'd be thinking about the brand system, the entire experience. So here's an example of a South Mall visitor journey. So there's a mall, and this is the journey of a mall. Look at all these touch points. They need a guidebook. They need marketing. Which areas would you be making an interface for? Would you be designing? potentially you'd be designing the guidebook, you'd be designing the marketing materials, you'd design the website, mobile app. Okay, maybe this is for marketing. You design for probably the park, how the parking would look like. Design for the signs and maps. Make your branding consistent there. Okay, so you design for mobile. How would the exit signs look like? How would you allow them to form memory? So these are the things you think about when you start thinking about learning experience design work. It's not just a particular touch point, but you have to think about the overall experience, the overall the many different touch points that you're working with, that you're interacting, and you have to have visual consistency. You need a brand system, and you need to do research, and you probably do usability testing. So your career path now, if you follow again our um, the skillsfuture.gov.sg website, you'd potentially be a visual storyteller. You'd be potentially be a visual storyteller, and you need to learn some skills in researching and probably co-designing. Okay, so that's how, practically speaking, your day. If your day was spent on churning out, working with graphic design tools like Photoshop, with like Adobe tools, um, instead of just focusing on that, you'd now be thinking about how does this particular interface, this particular design, related the overall experience of the customer. You'd need to know your customer persona and your customer's journey and the different touch points. Okay, so, and it's very, again, according to Interaction Design Foundation, there are a lot. It's much more interactive. Much more interactive because you can make mistakes, you can change all the time. There's always a common change that happens. Seems to be a problem with my internet connection today. And again, you can look at the online courses for where you can learn more about graphics. Norman Nielsen has some great graphics for this. Okay, I hope this answers this very most common question. We are already in day 7 of we've done 1 week of learning experience design. We're trying to do this for the whole month. We normally do this between 6:30 to 7:30 in the morning. If you'd like to know more, follow the entire thread, the entire list of episodes on le.cx. Watch the entire list there. Thank you, and I hope you found this useful. Bye bye now. Enjoy your days, guys.